Hello, myself Suchin Kumar. I'm going to tell about data compression. First, let's start with abstract. Data is in a type of stored digital information. Security is about the protection of assets. The data security refers to productive digital privacy of measure that applies to prevent unauthorized access to the computer's personal database and websites. Cryptography protects user by providing functionality for the encrypted data and authorization of other users. Compression is the process of reducing the number of bits or bytes needed to represent a given set of data. It allows saving more data. There are many cryptographic techniques available, and among them, AES is the one of the most powerful technique. The scenario of present day of information security system includes confidentiality, authority, integrity, and non-reproduction. Uh, Now let's start with introduction of data compression. To secure the data compression, to secure the data, we use compression is used because it is useless. Disk space, like saving money. More data can be transferred by internet. It increases speed of data transfer from disk to memory. Security goals of for the data security are confidential and authentication, integrity, and non-reputation. Data security delivers the data production access to enterprise. Information security is a growing issue among IT organizations of all sizes, moving towards cryptography to protect their valuable information. In an additional to above concerns over scenario stored data. IT organizations are also facing challenges with every increasing cost of storage required to the most to make sure that there is enough storage capacity to meet the organizations current and future demands. uh, Data compression is known for reducing storage and communication costs. It involves transforming data of giving format called message to data of smaller size format called code word. The data encryption is known as protecting information from uh, errors dropping. It transforms data of giving format called plain text to another format called ciphertext. Using a cipher encryption key, currently compress the compression and encryption methods are done separately. Uh, Cryptography prior to the modern age was efficiently synopsis with encryption, the conversion of information from a readable state to apparent nonsense. Modern cryptography is highly based on mathematical theory and computer science practice. Cryptographic algorithms are designed around uh, com computational hardnesses, making such algorithm hard to break. In practice by any advisor, it is theoretically possible to break the such a system, but it is inflexible to do so by any pra- pra- partial means. The growth of cryptographic technology has rise in number of large issues in the information age. Cryptography's potential for use has tool for uh, uh, use for tool and studiation has lead many governments to specific it has weapon and limit or even probabist it and export. Now let's explain about its literature review. The art of cryptography is considered to be burned along with the art of writing. As civilization evolved, human beings got organized in tribes, groups, and kingdoms. This led to the emergence of ideas such as powers, battles, uh, supremacy, and politics. These ideas further the natural need of people to communicate securely with selective repeatant with the turn ensure that continuously evaluation of cryptography as well. The roots of cryptography are found in Roman and uh, civil empires. This importance of information and communication systems for society and the global economy is interfacing with increasing value and uh, inequality of data that transmitted and stored in those systems. At the same time, these are systems and data also in, vulnerable to variety of threats and such as unauthorized access and use manipulation, alteration, and distraction. The hiding the hiding of information is called encryption, and when the information is unhidden, it is called as decryption. uh, a cipher is used to the encryption and decryption, uh, like we have Hill cipher, and more. Measure a method of transmitting a text in order to conceal its meaning. This information that is being hidden is called plain text. Once it has been encrypted, it is called ciphertext. To hide any data, to techniques are mainly used. One is cryptography, other is steganography. In this paper, we use cryptography. Cryptography is the science of protecting data with providing methods of converting data into unreadable form so that the valid user can access information at the destination. Cryptography is the science of using mathematics to encrypt the data and decrypt the data. Basic terminology of cryptography computers are used by millions of people for many purposes, such as banking, shopping, uh, student records, etc. Privacy for the privacy. Privacy is a critical issue in many of these applications. How how are they need to make sure that an unauthorized parties cannot read the modified messages. Cryptography is the transformation of readable and unreadable data into the form of which cannot be understood in order to secure data. Cryptography refers exactly to methodology of concealing the constant of messages. The word cryptography comes from the Greek word uh, cryptos, the means of hidden, and uh, cryp, uh, cryp, cryptos, which means writing the information that we need to hide, is called plain text. Uh, it's the original text. It could be in a form of characters, natural numerical data, executable programs, pictures, or any other kind of information. The plain text for the for example is the sending of a message into the sender before encryption, or it is the text at the receiver after decryption. The data will the data that will be transmitted is called ciphertext. Its terms refers to string of meaningless data or unclear text that nobody must understand except the uh, except the receiver can understand it. It is a data that will be transmit exactly through network. Many algorithms are used to transform plain text to into ciphertext called cipher. Cipher is the algorithm that is used to transmit plain text to ciphertext. This method is called encryption. In other words, it's called mechanism of converting readable and unreadable data into meaningless data. The key is an input to the encryption algorithm, and these values must be independent of plain text. Uh, this input this input is used to transform the plain text into ciphertext. So different keys will be there for different cipher text. In the the decipher side, the inverse of the key will be used inside, and the algorithm instead of the key. Computer security, it's a generic term of for collection of tools designed to protect any data from hackers, traffic, traffic corruption, or natural uh, disaster. Will allows this data to available to the users. At the same time, example for this tool is the harvesting program. Now let's talk about research method. By by using cryptography, many goals can be achieved. These goals can be either all achieved at the same time in one application or in only one of them. These goals are confidentiality. For example, we talk about confidentiality. It is the most important goal that ensure that nobody can understand the receive message except the one who has the decipher key. Second, authorization. It is the process of providing the identity that assure the communicating entity is the one that is claimed to be. Now let's talk data integrity. It's ensured that the received message has not been changed in any way from its original form. The data may get modified or unauthorized entity intentionally or accidentally. Now, non-replication. It is mechanism used to provide that the sender really sent this message and the message was received by the specific party, so that uh, recipient cannot claim that message who was not sent. For example, once an order is placed electronically, a a purchaser cannot deny the purchase order if non-reputation service was enabled in this in transformation. Next one is access control. Access control. It is the process of preventing an for unauthorized user of resources. This goal can uh, this goal can controls who can have access to the resources. If one can access under which restriction and condition the uh, access can be overrated, and what is the permission level is given access. Next one is data encryption. Data encryption is a random uh, string of bits created explicitly from scrumming and unscrumming data. Data encryption is designed with algorithms installed to ensure that keys that every keys is unpredictable and unique. Cryptography uses two types of keys: symmetric and asymmetric. Symmetric keys have been around the longest. The utility they utilize a single key for both encryption and decryption of ciphertext. This type of key is called secret key. Secret key ciphers generally fall into one of the two categories: streams ciphers or block ciphers. A block ciphers applies a private key and algorithm to the block of data simultaneously, whereas a stream cipher applies the key and algorithm on bit at the time. The most cryptography process use symmetric encryption to encrypt data transformation, but use asymmetric encryption to encrypt exchange the secret key. As Symmetric encryption, also known as private key encryption, use the same private key for both encryption and decryption. Uh, this the risk in this system is that if either party loses the key or the key is intercaptured, the system is broken and message cannot be exchanged secretly. Data encryption, data decryption, one of the foremost reason for implementation in an encryption description system is privacy. As information travels over the World Wide Web, it becomes subject to access from unauthorized individuals or organizations. Decryption is the process of taking encoded or encrypted text or other data and converting it back into text that the computer can read and understand the data. This term could be used to describe a method of unencrypting the data manually, or with unencrypting the data using the proper codes or keys. Encryption is the process of translating plain text data into something that appears to be random and meaningless ciphertext. Like it is called as ciphertext. Decryption is the process of converting ciphertext back to plain text. Symmetric key cryptography is symmetric key is also known as private key cryptography. A secret key may hide by one person or exchange between sender and receiver of message. If private key cryptography is used to send a secret message, but between two parties, both the sender and receiver must have a copy of secret key. Asymmetric key cryptography in the two keys uses two keys system is also known as public key and private key. Public key system one key encrypts the information and other mathematically related key decrypts it. The computer sends an encrypted message has a chosen private key that is never shared to anyone. So only only the sender can read it. If sending computer first encrypts the message with introduce instant receiver's public key and uh, the again sender's secret private key, then the receiving computer may decrypt the message first with its secret key uh, and then sender's public key using public key cryptography method. The sender and receiver are able to authenticate any only one another as well, protect security of message. Now conclusion of this are data compression offers an attra attractive approach of reducing communications costs by using available bandwidth efficiently. Compression algorithm reduce the redundancy in data representation to uh, decrease the storage required from the data. Over the last decade, there has been an unprecedented explosion in an amount of digital data transmitted by the internet, representing text, images, videos, or sounds, computer programs, etc. Data compression impels sending or storing a small number of bits. Compression is the reduction in size of data in order to save space or transmission time. Many methods are used for this purpose. In general, these methods can be divided into two both categories: lossy and lossless methods. Lossy compression generally used for compress any image in this original data into identical compressed data. That means there is some loss. Example: block transaction coding, transform coding, etc. Lossless compression is used for compress any textual data. So I'm done. Thank you.